Hello and welcome to week 6 of AFI's Cover 7 podcast. We are breaking down another wild week in the ELF. We had overtime, we had a forfeit, we had some close games, we had rivalries, we had the Battle of Austria, we had expansion teams getting their first wins. Another very exciting week, way more exciting than last week, I have to say. So I'm back in totally on the ELF, of course, this week. Daniel, I know you had your eyes glued to the Milano versus Frankfurt game on Saturday. You've been waiting to talk about it. Let us know your thoughts.
Loved it. Great back and forth. Really good game. The only game on Saturday due to the Prague Lions Leipzig Kings game getting cancelled. But yeah, really good game. Back and forth until the final whistle blew. Milano Seaman unfortunately lost 40-33 to the Frankfurt Galaxy. They could have won the game. A few issues around play calling, I felt. But an overall good game and great job winning Frankfurt Galaxy. I think it's a good sign for Milano as well. They do belong in this league. Yeah. They went toe-to-toe with one of the better teams in the league. So yeah, even if this season, I think with this loss, they're pretty much out of the playoff run. But even without this win, without a playoff appearance this year, I think it bodes well for next year and things to come.
I think you're right. I think this team can play spoiler at the end of the season and knock someone out who might be trying to get that wild card spot. I'm encouraged with Milano, and I was hoping for the upset. They had the ball with the chance to win it. Was there something they were missing on that final drive?
Yeah, not driving the field. There was about 2 minutes left. They're on the 40-yard line, and they threw 4 fades. And I don't blame Luke Zraka for that. I believe that was a coaching decision. I'm sure there was a reason why they did it, but you're going after Frankfurt's strength, which is their secondary. They've got 2 Americans playing corner. Drive the field, attack the seams, attack the safeties, play the short game. You've got time, you've got timeouts. It doesn't make sense to me. And that was the whole game, and that's why I felt Milano should have won. Because if it was better coached, or play called rather, I don't say better coached, because I'm sure they are great coaches in Milan anyway. But if it was better play called, then I feel like they could have won.
Yeah, that was, if you're a Milano fan, you wanted them to pull that one out, but it just slipped away. Anyway, Sunday had a large slate of games. 6 games on the docket. Let's start out with the first one. The Hamburg Sea Devils defeated the Rostock Panthers in Hamburg. Really exciting game to watch. We saw a lot of Hamburg's defense flying around. They signed Curtis Slater on Thursday. They signed Michael Taylor on Thursday. Michael Taylor had multiple sacks, was running around, making plays all over the field. Curtis Slater, interception. So they signed 2 new guys and made huge plays in this game, and their defense absolutely swarmed Roslaw and earned them the win.
Yeah, great job. Preston Hare, again, scrambling like crazy. I think he's one of the most dangerous quarterbacks in the league with his legs. Yeah. Spreading the field out wide and just attacking a light box, basically. Doing a great job. And the irony of Preston Hare being a rushing quarterback when they tried to move away from that last year. So yeah, great job Hamburg, getting that win. Bit inconsistent in the season, but good win, and their player hopes are still very much alive.
I feel like Hamburg and Roslaw are sort of in the group of like almost the top teams, but not quite, right? Just a bit off. Where does Frankfurt belong in that? I still have them kind of in the second tier, if I'm honest.
I think they belong in that. What, you think they're below Hamburg or above Hamburg?
I think they're a little bit above. Anyway, we'll get into power rankings later. Let's quickly touch on the Berlin Thunder's shellacking of the February Enthroners, 60-6. Slade the Blade Jarman, you were impressed with him.
Yep, that is Slade Jarman of Berlin Thunder, not Rostock Panthers, despite what Twitter will tell you. Yeah, he threw about 7 touchdowns, just absolutely wrecked the Enthroners. Enthroners are not a great team in Elf, let's be honest. So it's hard for Berlin to kind of take too much pride in this. I mean, they executed, so you can take that, but they need to beat good teams to be an elite team. At the moment, they're just beating bad teams.
Yeah, and Throners seem to be moving in the wrong direction. We saw last year with Istanbul Rams, at this point in the season, they were gaining some momentum. They were getting in some close games. Haven't seen that yet from the Enthroners. No, and I think there's this conversation going around about Enthroners versus Rams, who was worse, and I think it's definitely the Enthroners. And that's not for me to like shit on the Enthroners. I think I do respect them. They're in the league. They're coming in, week out, and putting their best out there. So it's just unfortunate. But the Rams last year won a few games, right? They beat Barcelona Dragons. Yeah. In the back end of the season, they were very competitive. Almost beat Hamburg. So yeah, it's just two different teams. But yeah, Enthroners seem to be going the wrong way. If they are to turn it around at the back end of the season, something drastic needs to change. We'll see. They have a new quarterback now. It's a tough debut for him and Kevin Doyle. there, but we'll see. Maybe he can turn some things around and they can get some wins. We'll see. There was one winless team that did get a win this weekend. The Helvetic Guards won in overtime, 22-19 over the Barcelona Dragons. They are still partying at this very moment in Zurich. They are gassed up. I love this game because it was really back and forth. At one moment, the Guards were up. The Dragons came back and tied it. Connor Miller and Theo Landstrom still had that connection. However, it just wasn't there when they needed it at the end. We saw an interception. Macio Beard of the Guards had a clutch interception, and it ended up going to overtime. And shout out to Jonkmans, the kicker, who hit a 57-yarder and 5 field goals, I believe, to help the Guards get this win. They did have a new QB, Tristan Noble. What did you think of his performance?
Yeah, solid. Didn't have the best stats, but didn't turn the ball over either. So yeah, really good job getting the team's first win, hitting Tyson Sear, finding that connection already, getting him in the end zone. However, it was not the first win for a winless team this weekend.
No, it was not.
We had the Prague Lions.
Yes, I was trying to follow you there. Yes, shout out Prague Lions, pitching a shutout, winning 35-0. No, yeah, it's a bit sad, this one, isn't it?
Yeah, first win in your elf history is a forfeit. But I mean, yeah, you're happy for Nate Cox, right? The new QB's coming in. You're averaging 35 points a game, and you're 1-0 in the league. So good job for you, I guess. Leipzig Kings. Obviously, we're aware of the situation there. It's pretty messy. Teams in financial ruins, allegedly. Cancelled this game. They're meant to play Cologne Centurions next week. We will see if that happens. But it's just not a good look for the league in the slightest. And it is interesting to see how the league handles it, considering what happened last year with Istanbul Rams. As we were speaking to Nate Morris earlier, and he said that, you know, the league was happy to see Istanbul sail into the distance and be like, see you later, guys.
Yeah.
Didn't do anything about it. Will they try and save Leipzig Kings?
I think it's different posturing here because Leipzig is a German team and was an original team. And
it's mid-season.
Yes. And you have to remember that Leipzig was founded by the ELF to be the 8th team. They made them out of nothing. And now they might be nothing again. Anyway, we hope they play next week. They got some ballers on the team. I know the coaches are working their butts off and the players. So we'll see, man. Kind of sad, but I hope it's not over for the Kings. But yeah, we'll see. And you know what stinks is the Lions are actually like trending upwards. They played Rosal well last week, and now they win.
With a new QB as well. I mean, they had a great rushing attack last year with a Czech running back whose name Zuzelka. There you go. Great name. So it'll be interesting to see what he does with Nate Cox, the new 8'50" QB.
The tallest quarterback in Division I college football history.
6 foot. How long? 6 foot what?
6'9".
Yeah, he's very large.
Very big human.
Yeah, very big. And weirdly mobile.
Yeah, I'm really excited to watch him.
Yeah, see.
It will be a show.
Yeah.
We were deprived this week. Yeah. Anyway, him versus AJ Wentland, that would have been a great matchup. Anyway, we're running over. Let's get into it. Next game we saw was
Paris.
The Paris Musketeers losing the Stuttgart Surge 6-14. A close game, a defensive game. Another week of Paris's offense and Stuttgart's offense underperforming.
Definitely, Jan Weinreich played well last week in his first game. Didn't play. He played okay this week. Yeah. And Paris have a good defense in their defense. They get around and they swarm to the
really
ball.
Athletic,
super athletic.
Speed is there.
Yeah, exactly. They're not afraid to hit either. So Zach Edwards looked good at some points, right? There was quite a few drops though, as I know you said earlier. Offensive line looked alright for once.
Yeah.
It was just Stuttgart Surge, a weird team. Like, I love them. I love what they're doing. They're my favorite teams in the league. But they keep winning, like, close games.
Yeah, ugly wins.
They keep winning, and I'm just like, they're undefeated still, which is great for them. But it's just like, I'm waiting to see that dominant performance where they put 60 points on someone, and maybe it's not going to happen. Maybe that's not how they play games. I
don't think it's going to happen with Jan Weinreich, to be honest. Maybe with Riley Hennessy. I mean, no shot at Jan Weinreich. I think he's really good, but I don't know. Maybe against Enthroners. Sorry, Enthroners. But yeah, against the Raiders or the Musketeers or I don't know who else they play. Maybe the Guards. I don't know. We'll see.
I think it's excellent coaching, right?
Yeah.
A 6-3 victory over the Raiders is excellent coaching. A 14-6 victory is excellent coaching and play calling.
Yeah.
And I think that's just representative of Jordan Newman, right? Everyone loves the man, and I think for good reason.
Yeah, the train in Stuttgart keeps rolling, just like it does in Dusseldorf. They win 39-25 over the Ravens. However, this was a good game.
Great game, very close. Munich were up for a decent amount of the game. Half time, it started to slip away from the Ravens after half time, but they were very much in it. But this is reminiscent of what it was like in their first game, I think, against the Raiders, right? They were up before the half, and then the second half came in, and the game started to get away from them. So I think Munich are struggling in the second half of games. I think it's due to depth, which Ryan Fire are having abundance.
Yeah.
But Ryan Fire, great job. Resilient win for them. They didn't put their heads down when they were down. They're not just used to winning. It's kind of like, hey, we need to earn our victories. And so they fought back and got the win. Glenn Tonga as well.
Yeah, Glenn Tonga played phenomenal. I think close to 200 yards. Found the end zone a bunch. He did fall. It was kind of funny in the end zone. Sorry, Glenn. But yeah, he dominated. I wasn't sure. Is he going to be the same guy he was last year? The answer is a resounding yes, especially behind the best offensive line in the league, without a doubt. Let's move on to the Battle of Austria. Vienna makes it clear that they still run the show in Österreich.
34 to
23.
34 to 39 to 23.
34-23.
34-23. My fault. Apologies. Yeah, disappointing. I thought this would be a much better game than it was. Jarvis McClam still looks banged up. There was a non-contact injury, or he went down a bit gimpy. Non-contact, I said. So those are never good injuries to have. And he just hasn't looked the same since week one. And I think they're missing him as their X factor. Mm-hmm. But I just think they have such a good Austrian talent pool anyway. I mean, the other Platzkammer brother, Marco Schneider, Philipp Hahn, Tobias Bonatti, running back. They've got such good Austrian players, and I just think they need to get those guys a bit more involved in the game. It can't be Jarvis or nothing, and that's what it seems to be. There wasn't a lot of offensive production this week compared to what we've seen before. But Vikings, great job for them. This is their first challenge of the season. They played 3 pretty bad teams, and then Berlin, who they almost lost to. So yeah, great job. Great job getting the victory. Chris Helbig was ranked quite lowly before this game, I think 9th in the league. Came out, slung it around, showed that this team is still very much a championship contender and probably won't face a challenge until the playoffs. Yeah,
I hope as ELF fans we get to see Vikings versus Ryan Fire at some point, because if we don't, we will be, I'll feel deprived, I'll feel incomplete with this year, because they look like 2 teams that are head and shoulders above the rest. That being said, let's move on to week 7, the halfway point. Oh my gosh, it's flying by. Let's check out the games. All right, let's do this quick. We'll just talk about the games we like.
One-liner. No, do every game one-liner.
Okay. We'll start off with Leipzig Kings at Cologne. One word.
It's not going to happen.
Canceled. Yeah, had to bet. Kings are showing up.
Yeah, but victory for Cologne.
Yeah, I'll take Cologne.
Yeah.
Next week, the game after, the Wroclaw Panthers, coming off a loss, visiting the Vikings. Vikings roll at home.
Should be a good game. I want to see if Wroclaw can put some points up against Vikings. I think Vikings will win the game, but I want to see if Wroclaw can put some points up.
You know what I want to see?
What?
Tony Tate versus Xavier Edwards.
Gyrating them hips. Anyway.
There we go. Raiders look to bounce back against Dragons team in the dumps.
I think Raiders win this game. I think they need to incorporate the Austrian guys, as I said before, but I do think they win, especially after Barcelona lost to Helvetic.
Yeah. That is in Barcelona, if that makes a difference, but I'm taking the Raiders no matter what. Next up, we got Nate Cox making his ELF debut, 6'9" Nevada quarterback for the Prague Lions, playing against Kyle Kitchens and a fierce Berlin Thunder defense.
Yeah, cannot wait to see Nate Cox and his very big body play in the game of football in Europe. But Berlin Thunder, I think they walk over Prague. I think Slade Jarman is fitting in very well, and I think they run the score up and get another 50 plus points.
He is weird to watch because he's left-handed, which is obviously kind of strange, right?
Yeah.
And he kind of has a weird throwing motion, but he's balling, so can't hate. Slade the Blade, fan-controlled football legend, if you didn't know.
Slade Jarmanov, Berlin Thunder, not Warsaw Panthers.
That's right. The other Sunday games are the Milano Seamen, after maybe their best game of the season, showing up in Munich against another really good team.
Yeah, I think this will be a good game. I think Munich will win. I think today's performance against Rhine Fire showed that they are actually a pretty good team. But I think Milano should feel comfortable with this weekend's game. They need to make some changes, but I think they can be competitive. I think Luke Zaratka can still score points. I think they have some deep threat receivers, as do Munich. So I think it should be a high-scoring game, fun, but I think there'll be a 2+ score difference.
I disagree. I think Milan is going to go in there and get a win. I think Luke Zaratka is going to throw 4 touchdowns, and the Milano Seamen are going to win this game.
That shocked me a lot.
The Munich Ravens looked really good for 3 quarters, and then they looked really bad in that 4th quarter. They looked physically beat down. They looked slow. They looked slow. They looked slow. They looked like they didn't want to be there the last 5 minutes. I hate to say it, but that's what I saw.
Scathing report.
I think Milan leaves this week with their heads high, and I can't say the same for Munich.
I love that. I'm a Milan fan, so I'm here for
that. Another big game, the Hamburg Sea Devils, coming off a big win, take on the Galaxy, who are red hot right now.
Great game. Both teams come off a victory. I think Hamburg are kind of where they want to be now. I think they're starting to find out who they really are. And I think that is not as much of a passing team as they thought. I think they still are a rushing team. Yeah. Defense, with those 2 signings we spoke about earlier, good job. So yeah, I think it'll be a good game, a really good game. I think it'll be interesting to see how Frankfurt's front 7 handles Preston Hare.
Yeah.
But yeah, it should be a good game. But I am going to take Hamburg.
Really?
Yes.
I'm taking Frankfurt. Yeah, I think Frankfurt's defense is going to be too athletic for Hare to run around. So yeah, I'll take the Galaxy. They look good right now. Even though they played close against Milan, I think they get this win. The other 2 games are the Rhine Fire going to Paris to play the Musketeers. Yeah, I would have loved to pick the Musketeers, but I can't. It's really hard to pick against Rhine Fire. They're number 1.
They're going to get a shellacking.
Yeah.
The Paris, not Rhine Fire.
Yep. Yeah. Can't pick against Rhine Fire right now. You'd be crazy too. And next we got the Helvetic Guards coming up of overtime win, hosting the red-hot, undefeated Stuttgart Surge.
I mean, Stuttgart Surge seem to be the masters of game plans, and Helvetic seem to have about 3 or 4 players that they can rely on. So I think this game is quite one-sided. I don't think Stuttgart Surge scored a lot of points. They scored like 20 points maybe, but they shut Helvetic out.
Yeah. Wow, shut up. That's a bold statement. I like it. It's actually really not that bold if you think about it. Yeah, I agree. What goes up must come down, and the Guards going down this week. There you have it. Week 7 in the books. We are thinking, it's in the works, a Week 7 halfway point award show. Stay posted for that next week. Thank you guys. If you made it this far, please like, subscribe, and tune in next week.